Hello there. Today I thought I'd show you some replays of my Eldritch abomination of a deck where I combine UAs with Eldlich. Okay, starting off Duel Number One here, this is against Thunder Dragon, as they're going to get an aloof Wolfline off to send Dark and Roar to the Banish Zone to be able to get Matrix. On field, Hawk to hand. Going to go ahead and link off into Verte and Akonda. Activate the Matrix effect to get another Matrix to hand. Activate Hawk to discard itself. To summon Roar, which will then be able to get them Colossus. And now the Verte and Akonda effect is going to go off to be able to, of course, get Destroyer, Phoenix, Enforcer. And that's going to be the end here. And I'm sitting there thinking, it's like, okay, well, if you look at what I have in my hand, these are just a bunch of play starters that I can't really do anything with unless I can search from my deck. So there's one card that gets me out of this situation. Only one. And that is Eldlich, the Golden Lord, which is exactly what I draw. So I'm going to go ahead and activate that here to send a penalty box to get rid of the Colossus. Activate penalty box to be able to search a Hyper State. I'm going to send another penalty box to be able to get you a turnover tactics here, just for insurance, if you will. Going to go ahead and activate Cursed Eldland, and for whatever reason they decide to DPE that. That is what it is. And from here we can just get full-fledged UA combo with Eldlich packed inside as well, as the Hyper Stadium has served its purpose. So we can go ahead and get rid of it to special summon Eldlich, the Golden Lord, and now activate the Stadium to go ahead and do the full UA combo to add Dreadnought Dunker. Stadium going to activate Chain Player Manager to special summon itself. Everyone gets the attack boost now. Get rid of Verte, do our second normal summon, and then get Playmaker. And yeah, that's a dead opponent. In fact, they surrender. Now, sadly, not every duel can be as fortunate as that one, so here we are into game 2 here, as we are facing off against Sword Soul, as they're going to go ahead and activate an Emergence to get a Moye, reveal the Vishuda, and as you can guess, this is just going to be full Sword Soul combo since I have no Sword of Disruption in hand. They had a Blackout because they already had the Long Yun in hand, so that they can get that out and of course go into Baron. Of course, get the burn off, and then they set 2. And so here, I get fortunate to be able to draw into Libro Spiker there. Gonna go ahead and activate the penalty box to add a Stadium. And now I'm going to go ahead and activate the Golden Lord to send another penalty box to get rid of the Baron, fully expecting that to get negated. That is what it is. Activate Hyper Stadium to add the Player Manager. And we are going to start off doing the full UA combo. But of course they have a called by set because it's a Sword Soul and they tend to always have exactly what they need. As we're now going to go ahead and start doing the same sort of combo that I do all the time with UAs. Activate the Player Manager to special summon itself. They get the boost off. Try to get rid of the Chi Shao. Fully expecting that to get negated. That is what it is. And they're going to go ahead and activate the Blackout here to get rid of my Player Manager and Dreadnought Dunker. It sucks, but oh well. As I just sort of go into defense mode, not being able to attack over the Barone, so just gonna go ahead and activate Cursed Eldland. I can't even attack without a non-zombie now, as they're gonna go ahead and activate the Barone to my set card, as they're going to Ghost Bell my Scarlet Sanguine. So I'm gonna go ahead and activate Libro Spiker here to get Ravelry Bounder, and when it's special summoned on my opponent's turn, I can get the card from the graveyard. So I go ahead and activate Player Manager to get rid of the Barone on special summon, as they get the Moye with the Taya in hand. Vishuda is going to activate now to send my Stadium back to hand, as they get another Chi Shao. Smelia gets the draw, and then there's a Long Yun, and of course they can activate that to get a level 10 Qin Ying. So I'm going to get burned for another 1200 there, as they're just going to get rid of both of my monsters. And for here, I draw into a Raigeki, which is basically useless to me. I could get rid of the Chi Shao, sure, but it's not that big of a deal. And here is where my opponent really screws up. I send the Raigeki to activate the Golden Lord's effect, and they activate Chi Shao. I don't think they realize the fact that Chi Shao is not just a straight up monster negate. It is something where you negate a monster that is on the field. There is only one other monster on the field except Chi Shao. That is Qin Ying. they just neutered their own boss monster. It no longer has its effects, therefore its attack goes back down to 3,000. LOL, screw you, Sword Soul. As I'm going to go ahead and banish the Scarlet Sanguine to get a Conquistador out now, as they are going to get a token off, and add another Golden Lord to hand just because I can, as I'm sort of going into defensive mode at the moment to add a perfect ace. But I can at the very least get off a Eldlich the Golden Lord, bumped up into 3,500 to be able to attack over Chen Ying and get rid of the token as well to annoy those pesky Chinese that love to do stuff with tokens on the field. And then set a Sanguine and pass. Monster Reborn, negate with perfect ace, and we get a Golden Lord into the graveyard by doing so, and then they try to normal summon their Taya as I just Conquistador that. Goodbye. As we get a Hyper Stadium here, but it doesn't really matter because, let's be honest, this is just game at this point. As we're going to go and special summon Playmaker here, and attack for game. I don't know why I didn't attack with Playmaker first, and then perfect ace, but it worked out either way. Heck yeah. Okay, heading into game number 3 now. It is, of course, against Tinyi Sword Soul again, because that's what you tend to face all the time when you get into Platinum. Or at least that's what I did the first season where Diamond was introduced, but at least this time we're going through some different plays. We're going through the Hulk Auroradon combo to, of course, get 3 tokens out onto the field, as well as special summoning the 001 back. I think we've all seen this before. They get Yazi out onto the field, to which they get rid of a token and get a Moye out. Taya is in hand, so that is, of course, going to be a Qishao, as they are also going to be able to get an Emergence to hand. They're going to go ahead and activate that to get Arch Nemesis Protos. Because, of course, then they call Dark, which is interesting. So the thing is, I find it interesting how everyone decides to still call Dark with Protos, considering the fact that it's basically a 50-50 shot, because once you start to get into the higher ranks of Yu-Gi-Oh!, it feels like everyone is only playing one of 2 decks. It's either going to be Sword Soul or Despia. It greatly hinders Despia, but does basically nothing against Sword Soul. I don't know, I just find it funny how people still try to call Dark with Protos, just instantly just call Dark. I don't know. But anyway, gonna go ahead and activate the stadium here to get off a normal summon and a search to get player manager, special summon Dreadnought Dunker, to which we can special summon the player manager. I've showed you this 3 times already to get rid of that, and as a called by, good thing I got rid of that first before doing this. Go ahead and go to activate Golden Lord to get rid of the Qishao. They go ahead and negate my Dreadnought Dunker effect, that's whatever. Get rid of the Cursed Eldland so we can now attack with our UAs, and special summon Mr. Golden Lord. Eldland also going to send a Hakero to the graveyard, and we're just going to swing for as much as we can and get out perfect ace in the end phase, or excuse me, in the main phase 2 here. They top deck an Emergence because, of course, they get the Longyun. Going to activate that. And I'm just going to go ahead and chain Libero Spiker here to send Playmaker back to get a perfect ace, which will, of course, allow me to be able to special summon Player Manager here again. And this is where I make an absolutely gigantic mistake. I think my logic here was I want to get rid of the Longyun, because if they are able to get another token out, then they can go ahead and go into a level 10. Completely ignoring the fact that they can do so much more if they have a token still out on the field because of all the different Tinyi effects. That's on me. That was my big misplay of this. As they add a Vishuda to hand, which can now activate its effect because they have the token. Admittedly, they still could have done that even without the token being there. But, actually no, I take that back. If the Longyun was still there and the token was not, they would not have been able to activate the Vishuda. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and negate that. They add the Vishuda back to hand. Ashuna now going to get a Vishuda out onto the field. Ataya gonna get rid of gonna banish the Emergence to go into Baxia. And at this point we are just kind of screwed as they try to get rid of the Sanguine and the Stadium. Gotta go ahead and activate Sanguine then to get another Golden Lord from the deck. as they are going to go into Qin Ying. As they now get Moye back out to reveal the Vishuda to get a level 8 Draco Berserker of the Tinyi. And they get rid of one Golden Lord and Dreadnought Dunker. To which case they forget that they can attack again, but that is what it is. I top deck my stadium that they just sent back to the graveyard, and let's be honest, there's nothing that I can do at this point, so I surrender. Alright, game number 4 here, we have Muchi Muchi Daisuki. I'd be lying if I said I knew what that second kanji there was, but it's Dragon Link, as they're going to go ahead and go off into a Heavenly Spheres here, activate Return of the Dragon Lords, and then go into Boral Sword. Weird flex, but okay. Boral Sword on turn 1 as we get a big-ass hand thanks to Maxi. Gonna go ahead and activate Golden Lord to send a penalty box because, of course, that gets rid of the Boral Sword. Activate Hyper Stadium now because we have full combo. And this is just basically flexing at this point. I feel so bad for this poor soul for what they are about to witness. As we get rid of the Hyper Stadium, it served its purpose. I've basically shown you this exact combo before, except a different level 4 that we'll be summoning this time around. Yeah, so the Stadium activates going to go ahead and get the Player Manager as well to get rid of their field spell. Add the Playmaker. Special summon that, and we're not done flexing yet. We're going to go ahead and activate both of our Power Jerseys and a Fusion Destiny just to rub it in, because, like, look at this. Like, what were they expecting to do with all of those cards in hand? The Power Maxi. Don't take the Maxi challenge, kids. Okay, going into the next game here, we have Iroha no... I have no idea what that second kanji is. Or, excuse me, the last kanji is. As it is Sky Striker. Oh yes, I remember this game now. The absolute dread of my existence. They made me go first. Sky Striker player made me go first. As we're just going to go ahead and get off the one draw from the Shizuka special summoning itself. Or, excuse me, it being special summon. I'm going to go ahead and Ash the Shizuka effect in the end phase. As I'm going to go ahead and get the Foolish Burial Goods off to get the penalty box into the graveyard. Going to go ahead and activate the Sanguine as well to be able to get the Akero and a Stadium because we already have level 4 in hand. As now we're just going to normal summon, get Dreadnought Dunker out, special summon that, and go into battle phase and get rid of their face down, which is an Imperm. Ray's going to go ahead and special summon herself back because of that, as I'm going to just special summon the midfielder because if I want something destroyed, I'd just rather it be one of my midfielders instead of Dreadnought Dunker. The reason why I didn't activate Cursed Eldland there, mind you, is because I didn't have another spell in hand for it to really do anything, as they go ahead and get the continuous spell out and attack directly with Hayate. As they send another spell to hand, mind you, they now have 3 spells, as they take my midfielder to make a Zeke, and then use Zeke to make a Kakari to, of course, get another engage back to hand. As they're going to go to activate that now to get Shark Cannon, and go back into Shizuku. As you're just going to see this person absolutely prosper as they now activate the continuous spell to get an engage and a Widow Anchor again to add and they get another engage with the Shizuku. So basically, here's what I'm thinking here. Here's what I'm thinking. I have a Golden Lord in my grave, or I thought I did. Or I can get one into my graveyard with Cursed Eldland to, you know, get the Golden Lord in hand, and then I could get, you know, get rid of something. But the problem is, one of these two is going to be Shark Cannon. They have the required number of spells engraved, so I'm basically just screwed at this point. There's not really much that I can do. They also have Widow Anchor to get rid of any monster that I tried to put out. So, yeah, I've never seen a Sky Striker player just prosper this much, like seriously. And so it would have helped if I had another spell in hand, but I'm just going to say screw it. Here's a signing deal that get Ash Blossom because they seem to have every single thing that they need to in their hand. So they're going to go ahead and activate Max C here as well. I'm going to go ahead and activate Player Manager to get Dreadnought Dunker. That's one draw. Player Manager going to activate now. I'm basically taking a hit to see if I can get rid of the Shark Cannon, but that doesn't really matter because they have Effect Veiler. they drew into basically everything that they could ever need. So, yeah. I'm mostly just showing you this because of how salty I am about this match. Okay, final duel of the video here today. I'm just going to go ahead and activate a Fusion Destiny because there's not much else that I can do on turn 1 because they made me go turn 1. Set the penalty box in hopes that they might decide to get rid of it and pass. And we're facing against Shaddolls. They send an Ecclesia to the graveyard. It actually has pretty good synergy with Shaddolls. I learned that in this duel. As they do it, decide to try to get rid of my penalty box. I didn't mean to actually activate this here. They were trying to send the penalty box back to my hand so that I activate DPE to get rid of my penalty box, which is another reason why I put the penalty box down, because I knew that I could easily get rid of it with DPE and also get rid of their construct as well. As Windy is now going to activate here, as well as construct. I didn't mean to activate the penalty box earlier, but I did mean to activate it here. So they're going to go and activate the add the Shaddol Fusion back to hand, get a beast set in set 3. Ecclesia now going to activate itself to be able to get rid, or excuse me, to add it back to hand, as Fusion Destiny is going to activate to destroy our DPE. As they do a bunch of stuff in my draw phase to get rid of all of my Destiny Hero monsters in my graveyard. Screw me. Now going to activate Stadium to get a midfielder out, to get a rival rebounder out. Play manager going to hit the field now. Signing deal to be able to get perfect ace because I really want that out. And of course they have something to deal with it. They get rid of my rival rebounder, as they're now going to activate Fairy Tale Snow, which is in the graveyard, to be able to get the other thing that can attack over the beast. As I now just try to get my perfect ace into defense mode, as they activate another Shaddol Fusion. Perfect ace is going to negate that. It's in the Hakero, so I can get some sort of bonus off of it. And of course they have a second Shaddol Fusion to get El Shaddol Construct out, as the Shaddol effects are just going to activate now to get a face down, as they are going to be able to flip that, and it's a Windy to be able to get a Shaddol Hedgehog, as they're just going to get rid of my player manager, activate El Shaddol Construct. That cannot attack over my perfect ace, but they can negate my Stadium effect. So that is just going to sit there dead. The Akero going to activate in the end phase to be able to get a Scarlet Sanguine, and I am stupid for putting it in this column because that could have been an Imperm. As we draw a second midfielder, doesn't really do much for us, so I just end up passing because the Stadium is negated, as they make a very stupid mistake here. Why they decided to do this, I do not know. I don't know if they knew how this interaction would work, but yeah. They attack into Perfect Ace to activate its effect. Just try to automatically destroy it. I have to read real quick. Let me see. If this card battles a special summon monster, that is mandatory. Why did they attack into it? If that was optional, I would have seen why, as they could just decide not to activate that, but no, that is mandatory. So that is an effect that activates that I can sit here and negate and get rid of your construct. Don't know why they decided to do that. And this thing can't attack over. So we're just sort of stuck here. You created the situation. Congrats. As Ecclesia can add itself back to hand because the construct was destroyed. As we get a Golden Lord, that can't do us any good, so we're just sort of stuck here now. Congrats. As they just go ahead and end phase here as well. Such riveting gameplay, I know, but we do draw into a Spell and Trap that can help us out here. They activate Imperm, that does nothing this turn because Perfect Ace can only activate during my opponent's turn. As I set a Conquistador here off of the Sanguine that was in Grave. And we get the Golden Lord using the Dead Stadium, and I know that that won't destroy it, but we get 1,000 damage off anyway. As they're going to go ahead and activate Fairy Tale Snow here again. Don't know why they thought that I would let this go off, so there goes the Perfect Ace negate, as they're now going to get Fallen of Albaz out, as I'm going to activate Conquistador, as they're going to go ahead and activate the El Shaddol Fusion. And I gotta be honest here, the only reason why I activated Sanguine is because I didn't know how Conquistador worked, and so I assumed that the Albaz effect would go off before my Conquistador being able to destroy. And so I just wanted to get I just wanted to be able to have one Golden Lord out. because I assumed that that's what they were going to use for the Albaz effect. But if you read here... Oh, actually, it doesn't say. It actually does not say. Like, I would have thought that it would have said, like, immediately after this effect resolves, but it doesn't say that. That's interesting. So, yeah. And they are going to get a window off with the Yugioh fusion. Don't know why they haven't been gotten that out sooner, but my Conquistador is going to come out and destroy their Albaz, as they're just going to surrender off of that because, well, there's not much they can do with that window, as I could just easily attack over it next turn, and I could go into a rank 10 that can burn for 2,000. So yeah, not much hope there. Well, anyway, those were some of my replays. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for sticking around if you stuck around to this point of the video. I appreciate you. I will see you next time.
Ah, hello there, and welcome to the end of the video. Here I am on the swing, on the dilapidated remains of the playground in my backyard from my childhood. I am much too big for it now. Like, I can't even sit down in the seat. Therefore, I'm standing up in it. Let me give you a question. How come we call them buildings instead of builts? They have already been built. They are not in the process of building. Maybe it is because the word built implies that maybe the building is no longer standing. It is fallen. And maybe the word building implies that it is still in the process of standing. Food for thought.